Good morning. I recently posted a short video reviewing this lens, a 25mm CCTV camera lens at f1.4. It's really inexpensive, £16 from eBay, a great buy, and it's really good to create what people call the film look. I'll post a link to the review below in the description. But when you've got one of these lenses, what do you do with it? So, here are my 3 easy steps to create the film look. Step 1 is the camera settings. Step 2 is the lens. And step 3 is post-production. First, set your camera to manual. You must have full control over your camera before you can really create the film look. The basic settings to get the film look are quite simple. First, set your camera to shoot at 24 or 25 frames per second. If it doesn't support that and it's 30 frames per second, don't worry, but ideally 24 or 25 frames per second. And then set your shutter speed to twice that value. So if you have 24 frames per second, set 1/48th, or as near as possible, 1/50th of a second shutter speed. The reason for this is it helps create that film look, the motion blur that we're all used to when we're looking at cinema films. Next thing is to set your ISO as low as possible. Today I'm shooting at 200 ISO. That's the sensitivity of the sensor to the light falling on it from the lens. For even more control over your films, go into the picture profiles in your camera settings and adjust it to neutral. Today I'm using a Panasonic GH4 to shoot this video, and I'm using a Cinelike D picture profile, but modified by setting contrast, sharpness, noise reduction, saturation and hue all down to -5. I always try to capture the film I want in the camera. I don't really like doing too much post-production, but it's surprising what you can do, even with a simple editing program like iMovie. Film burns, for example. Quite good if you want the vintage look. Weather? You could make it snow indoors. But perhaps the single most important post-production feature that I think nails the film look is this. I'm now in CinemaScope. Look at these bands above and below. That just nails the film look. That's done in post-production. But remember, if you intend to put a mask on your film in post-production, to put a CinemaScope profile in there, don't forget to adjust how you film, because you could get it all wrong quite easily. So remember that you must shoot with that picture profile in mind. Time to fit the lens. Okay, now the 25mm CCTV lens is fitted to this GH4. Remember, a lens like this does not communicate with the camera body. You have to go into the custom settings in the GH4 and set it to shoot without lens. Okay, this is where the manual controls start to take effect. Look. That is the stepless aperture. So you'll be adjusting your aperture with that to get the correct look. Okay, we're out in the woods now, and you can see the difference that this little cheap lens makes to the image. It's got that lovely dreamy look and a very shallow depth of field. Look in the edges, you'll see just how hazy this lens is, but it's a great effect if you're trying to achieve the film look. Okay, that's the 3 easy steps to get the film look with this inexpensive lens. But there's one element missing that's so important to your films, and it's not what your eyes see. It's sound. It's winter in the UK, it's getting dusk. Just the time for a tawny owl. Do you see the difference it makes? How about that evocative, wintry, slightly worrying sound, the red fox? They say this piece of woodland is haunted. It certainly feels cold and unwelcoming here this evening. The story goes that a man wearing a wide-brimmed hat and carrying a lamp follows you through the wood silently and watches. Turning a bit cold now out here in the woods. Dusk is coming. I think there's going to be some rain in a little while, and it's getting a bit spooky as well. I think it's time to go.